Hello and welcome, friends. I have this new book that I started working on. I created it from pages from a sketchbook that I had that I was using to experiment with different types of materials that would make marks, stencils. This here is a pattern from a screen that I saved from a rescreening on my sliding door screen. The dog ran through it, and so I had to get it fixed. Poor dog. He's okay. A little startled he was, but other than that, he survived. So I was going to share with you some of the things that I do in this book. All of these pages were from that experimental sketchbook, and what I've done is I've taken a few of the pages out and I just tore them down into 4x6 pages. They're this way they're 6, these way they're 4. And so basically this would be one whole piece of paper. And this is actually a whole one here. It's the middle of the spread. So these are all from the sketchbook, and I just put them together, and there's 3 signatures. See my wonky binding? I've already done some stuff to it. I couldn't wait. So, por ejemplo, I cut these holes back, and I will show you how I do that. I'm just taking random pieces of corners of the book and just bending them in and gluing them down. I did a little backwards writing here. A little interesting kind of stitch for the middle of that signature. And I had some rusted cloth that I recently made, rusted. And I added this stitching to it, and I just pasted it to the paper with some gel medium. I had run a little stitch through with my sewing machine. I'm not sure why I did that actually, but it works to do that so that if it starts fraying here, the material will not continue to fray into that. Although that could be a good, a good look. I could just fray this stuff, and this stitch will keep it from continuing to fray. Anyway, in any case, I've got it glued down, and you can kind of see what's underneath of the fabric that I glued down. And I'm not sure if I will trim this off yet, or maybe I just let it hang out, or I could glue it back like such. And, the possibilities are great. On this page, all I did was I ripped the middle part of this page like so. Just rolled it on down, rolled it up. And, it's like that for now, but I might change it into something different. But see how the window I created is showing everything else through that hole. I think that's really interesting. And here's another that I did. Just tore it and rolled it up. Look at the contrast of this dark with these, it's acrylic paint. I believe that's quinacridone. I don't remember. I'll have to look that up. But anyways, I just roll those up and see how much is showing through. I really like that. It's like layers. Layers are my favorite thing. And this is layers of pages seen through the holes. I took this piece out here and put it, hopefully I can find it. If I can recognize it. Here's some more fabric that I pasted down willy-nilly. Ah, here it is. Here's the piece that I took off of here. And it looked to me like a face kind of. So I kind of started developing here the eyes, and there's the nose and the mouth. So we'll see how she ends up. She's just the start. So I wanted to start, let's see. Let me show you how I make my windows. Okay, so right here, this would be a good spot for a window because you're gonna see all of this goodness through the window. I'm gonna lose this part here a little bit, but that'll be okay. I'm going to take my scissors and just dig my scissors in there like so, and start the window. It doesn't have to be straight, it can be wonky. Maybe I'll just actually tape that down. I kind of like it. And I just tape it to here. That was kind of cool. So I'm going to use some Nova gel from Nova Paint. You can use whatever gel you have on hand for something like this. I like to use Nova because you can buy it in quantity and they mail promptly to my address. So there, I'm just gonna be generous with the gel medium because since this has already got a little paint on it, might give me some issues gluing it down. It looks like we have no problem here. Made a liar out of me. I'm gonna squeeze it out to get the excess, and I could leave those blobs there for interest. I'm not sure if I want that there like that or not. And see how this has created this shape? That's pretty cool. I like that. So you still get to see this goodness as part of this when you turn the page. And let's just go ahead and clean that bold edge of gel medium coming out. Yeah, I like that. And since that is still wet, I'm going to use the scraps from this little bit. See if I can sop up that little bit of excess. My dad always told me, waste not, want not. He was raised during the Depression, and so he knew how to save stuff. He always saved stuff because he thought, that he'd be able to use it. Now I'm going to glue this down like so, just enough so that it'll dry, and then I'll be able to go back and tear this other, because I just want a hint of this paper here, since I'm using up the excess of that gel medium. So this is just, I'm using up the excess gel. Let me add some here. Another little piece of this goodness. And I don't want to cover this up because it looks too like a heart to me, so maybe I'll do that to emphasize the shape of the heart. If you can see, you turn it around. Doesn't that look like a heart? Oh, I love hearts. I'm gonna just follow that shape and see what happens. So I'm gonna trace it around so I don't forget that it's there. It probably will anyways, but for now, that's what I'm doing. All right, so I'm gonna move on. Look at how those little bits hanging down kind of add interest. That's just a start. Another thing you can do is if you want to make a hole in your page, let's pick another section. Well, for example, this one where I bent the pages back and just glued them down. This could be an interesting place to create a hole so that this will show through a little bit. So I'm just going to go with my pencil. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Put a hole. See what it looks like. See what shows through. You really can't see that much, but it's a start. And maybe I will take this and pull it that way. Maybe I'll pull it this way. See, now I had already drawn this shape here because it looked like a window to me. So I can simply go with that line. I could turn that into a shirt here, the sleeves. Here's the hem, the bottom. Anyways, these are all just beginnings. It's just like a exploration, and that's how I work. Here's something else that I could fold. There's all this blank here, so I could come in here like so. And I could just leave it like that until I decide if I want to glue it down, or maybe I have something else I want to do. Like I already have this theme of using this paper. Why not carry it through? One of the things, beautiful things about making art is repetition is a good thing to have in your work. A little bit of repetition makes it interesting, and it helps for whatever you're doing to flow. So I'm going to use my finger here. And I'm just going to glue it down there, hold it to that page, and so that way I know I want those words to show through. There we go. Easy enough. And so, you know, I kind of like this. Maybe I could leave it as a flap, something that folds out. I could write something there. And even though I wrote something, I can always go back and glue it. Nothing is final in making art, right? So let's see. This piece here, all I did was stitch down some stitches here to go through this so that there looks like, you know, it just adds interest. But if I wanted to, I could put something through there just for the sake of showing you. I use this edge of this material, this paper. And there we have a little bit of weaving of sorts. And that's just to give you an idea of what can be done with something like that. You know, not real crazy about that, but just as a just to show you. And see, that's another thing to take into consideration, is that if you put something solid there, all this is going to be lost. So maybe I want to go through, if I want to put something there, I want to put something, you know, transparent so you can see the work underneath. It's worth a try. So I found this little piece of material, it's tulle, and it's got a little blob of paint on there. And I thought it would add interest because since I have all of these lines, these little holes, it will echo kind of that pattern. So I'm just gonna willy-nilly glue this down. Take this and I'm gonna set it aside because I might be able to use it somewhere else. So I'm just gonna glue this down like so. And then I'm going to use a piece of wax paper underneath that page, so when I glue this down, it doesn't ruin the bottom page. So, take some of my gel medium, just going to put it around the whole. And there, easy enough. Since that fabric is porous, it just went right down. And I can put some more the excess over the top of that to really hold it down. So there, let's just take a peek real quick. Gotta add something. So I'm gonna leave that wax paper. Cover that up since I don't want that wet gel to stick to the page. So there, we'll come back to that. I could blow dry it, but I think I'll let it set. And just put another piece here. Keep that from sticking to this page. So there, now we're building our layers. And that's kind of interesting, the way this little fabric, the tulle, is showing on the side here. It's a happy accident. And it's repeating these patterns. And like when I do stuff like that, just kind of accidentally happens. It's the beauty of working without a plan, without expectations. It's just, what can we possibly make or do to change this up? And here's this, and I didn't even put some wax paper down on that, and it worked out. It must like it. But like I said, let me see if I can pull that up like I wanted to. I've got no fingernails. That makes it kind of interesting. Do I want to leave that? For now, I think so. Just take some of this off. And by ripping those papers off like so, I wanted to show you, I guess I'll sacrifice this. Sometimes you get a little accidental transfer. I'll leave that like that for now. So I have this piece of vellum that I rusted. I simply wrapped it around this coil that I had, and turned out pretty cool. And I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce that into this page so that when I turn the page, you're going to see this is a nice contrast to all of this. And I think I have to decide whether I want the lines going this way or that. Could echo these lines going straight up and down on the horizon line. Choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a nice clean line so I can put this right up against there. So, wow, I get all excited when I do stuff like this, like, oh boy, choices. So this line here coincides with these lines, and it kind of creates, you know, continuation. There's always looking at all the different ways that I kind of like it like that the best, so I think I'm going to do that. Let's see this one here. Yeah. See, I have this gap right here, so I want to, let's see, a nice clean line. So I can put that right up against the folder, the binding. Oh, wait a minute. Do I like this side or that side? Oh, no, definitely that side. Yes. Ooh. Oh, no, choices. Well, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to do it. I'm thinking comes from my brain. It's not working intuitive. When I start planning too much, I decide I gotta, man, it's really hard to decide, but I just go with this. So I'm gonna give that a generous amount of gel because working with vellum, gluing it down could be tricky. However, now that it's rusted, it might stick down just fine. Ooh, I love how you can still see the stuff underneath. I'm gonna squeegee that up. And the gluing down of this doesn't have to be perfect. Maybe I'll leave this hanging out for now. So I'm just it's a little different. I might even want to put a hole through here just to bring that out. But then it might be getting carried away, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. Move on to the next indicated thing to do. So I have this piece of paper from an old vintage book that was going to be tossed into the circular can, and I've taken a piece of this right off because I really like these interesting marks, and I see a face there already, so I'm going to embellish on that. For now, just a couple of eyes so that I can remember that that looks like a face to me. So what's a matter of? Let's see where I want to put her. I think I like her right there. I'm not going to put too much gel medium here to see what happens. And then once she's dry, I will add more of the face. I use pieces of wax paper just to make sure stuff doesn't stick to the other pages. So there she is. And we have this. It's partially dry. So this is the view from there, and the view from this side, which is kind of cool, but maybe I want to add some more of this little forward. Maybe something like this would be better. Or something contrasting might be better. Let's see if something dark. That could work. So this is how it goes. It's just a matter of going in here and pasting down stuff. Like if I do this, what will happen? If I do that, what will happen? So I'm going to leave the wax paper there for that to dry. And I'm just going to throw down all of these bits that are sitting here. There's not that many really. I'm going to put a layer of them here. Maybe even make it kind of look like a flower. It's a rough little flower. Just for interest. Okay, so then see if this works. It's all an experiment. So I'm kind of guesstimating the size there, so I know how much to put down. And really all I need is for the petals, right? But for the sake of, I'm going to put plenty of that down, gel medium, and then I'm going to, hopefully they stick. Well, that's a good start. And maybe all of them didn't stick. That's okay. It's easily fixable. Maybe I'll turn that like so. And then this guy. And over the top. This paper's pretty thin, it's really old. So that's the start of a possible flower. And I keep adding. Since I got that gel all over the place. And building up my flower here. I'm trying to keep it loose, but now that I see that it might be kind of a flower, it's getting a little too planned, but I'm still just kind of putting the pieces down. If I add some of this in. And try to maybe get it like a petal or not. Doesn't matter. Oops, a little too much water in my brush. Use this to bring in some line work. And it doesn't have to look like any type of flower, really. It just kind of gives you the idea that that's what it might be. And vellum kind of wrinkles up when you glue it down, so I'm just gonna rub out the lines. Sometimes I leave the lines because they add interest, but just to show you that can be, usually like to use an expired credit card to flatten things out and get the wrinkles out. So here's a piece. Yeah, it's a good start. So I'm just going to stick this to that and see if anything interesting happens, because sometimes the wax paper will stick. So it's always kind of a pleasant surprise. Before I ever pull that wax paper off, though, I'll let it dry really well. Otherwise, if I pull it off too soon, it's going to take everything up with it. And that's what I've discovered for the most part anyway. So, there's another page. So I have this lovely piece of tissue paper that I really like the color. Saved it from, I don't know, a birthday gift or something. And I like to save all the tissue paper that I get in presents. And if you notice, there's a shiny side to tissue paper. It's kind of slick. The other side is the dry side. And that makes for an easy gluing. I don't think it really looks that much different if you glue it from one side or the other, except for it just is easier to glue that side. See how there's more of a shine to the other side, it's a shiny shine. It's the nature of tissue paper. I want a straight line for that. And try that. First, I'm going to put some tissue paper down. Wax paper, so I don't make a mess onto the other page. Maybe it would be better on this page. Let's try it out, shall we? I got too much water in my brush, so I'm going to squeeze some of that out with a paper towel. Grab that gel, and I'm gonna just plaster some gel all over. I'm really way overdoing it, but that's okay. Especially with tissue paper. Tissue paper, you know, it glues down pretty easy. So this is the dry side. I'm just going to put that in there. Right now, while the gel is wet, I can easily slide that around. At this point, I got these lovely wrinkles, and I get to decide whether I want to keep them or smooth them out with a credit card. I think in this case, I'm going to leave them. See what I get just by closing the book. If I smooth them with my fingers, then I'm really gonna get smooth paper. So look at that. That's kind of cool, those wrinkles. What would happen if I just turned it over like so? It would be a little boring, but I'm going to do that just for now, just in case. And so I'm going to put my now we got a really good start here, and I'm going to take a break, and I'll continue this in the next episode of working in my new book. See, at this point, there really is no up and down to the book, except for her. She's created the up, I suppose. And I really like how the stitching on this turned out. And this is just a random piece of fiber thread that came from this piece of canvas. So I just kind of I just glued it down. Just kind of, when this came from this piece of canvas that I had painted, and I was playing around with trying to get as many layers on the canvas as I could, and then I just tore it off of the frame, the canvas frame, and decided to use it as pieces in my books here and there. So I thought it made a good cover to my wonky binding underneath. So thanks for watching. This is just a little snippet of possibilities, but there's so much more I want to do to this book, so I hope that you will stay tuned and wait for the next episode. This is really just the beginning. Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, I'd appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to find out when I post my next video. I should probably give this a title. I think I'll just stick with new book for now. Oh, this game is happening. I really like that vellum, and it stick down pretty well. This one little spot. That's okay. I'm gonna leave it like that till I decide if I want to keep it like that or rip it off or glue it down. It's always good to save some for later. Here's the wonky binding that I'm going to show you what I will do to cover that. It's a great place to add more pages or something. So I'll do that in the next video, and I think I'll put something there to not forget. Let's put that there. But that's what I was going to do next. So thanks again. Have a great day and stay tuned.